Welcome to Over the Line, the football debate show by fans for fans. My name is Dave O, and joining me today we've got Nigel and Kunle. Gents, welcome.
Good
Hello,
evening.
hello.
We ready to chew the fat of the results of this weekend?
Yes, go.
All right, let's go, let's go. So, as usual, best way to start is to always recap the scores from the weekend. So, we start with the Friday result, and that's all Leeds beat Nottingham Forest 3-1 at home. Forest in the doldrums of a relegation battle. I, for one, will not be too sad to see them go, and it has nothing to do with them taking Edu at a critical time in our season. Saturday, we saw the first game of the week of that day. Manchester United beating Tottenham 2-0 at Old Trafford. The misery for Tottenham continues. I think I saw a stat where it says Thomas Frank has the worst win percentage of any Big Six club manager in the Premier League history, sitting at 28%, just below Ruben Amorim on 32%. Questions need to be asked as to whether it's still a Big Six, and if so, are Tottenham still really in there? Next up, saw Bournemouth and Aston Villa draw 1-1. Arsenal beat Sunderland 3-0 at the Emirates. Burnley lost 2-0 at home to West Ham. West Ham making that relegation battle quite interesting now because they are closing the gap on the teams above them, namely Nottingham Forest. Next up, Fulham lost 2-1 at home to Everton. Everton coming from a goal down to win that late on. Next up, saw Wolves lose 3-1 at home to Chelsea. Newcastle lost 3-2 at home to Brentford. And the games of today saw Brighton go down 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace. And the final game of the weekend saw Liverpool go down 2-1 at home to Manchester City. It was all looking good with 5 minutes to go, Conley, and Liverpool conspired to chuck it away, giving City impetus in the title race. We'll start there and we'll start with you. It seems like Nigel's maybe having technical difficulties as he drops out. So that result, Conley, does it A, galvanise Man City, and B, are you worried about our title aspirations as Arsenal fans?
Um, I would say I'm worried because I always thought it was never going to be easy anyway.
Yeah,
Because your first one is never going to be easy. You're going to have to, especially for it's Arsenal. It was never going to be. See, when Liverpool won their first one during the COVID
yeah,
season and just ran away with it,
yeah,
um, that was never going to be us. So I know a lot of people were hoping, obviously, for the Liverpool, obviously, which is natural. You hope that your rivals drop points, but one thing when people keep talking about like records, and they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, Pep has never been to Anfield, Haaland has never scored," and they kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it.
yeah,
Eventually, it has to end. The same way, like when United came to the Emirates, everyone kept saying, "But they've never come to the Emirates and won. They've never come to the Emirates," and everyone kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating. It's like just the way football works. It will just do something to just twist that narrative. So, and from watching the game as well, you could see. I thought City were the better team. I think City would have been unfortunate to actually lose, especially in that first half. That Liverpool
mm,
didn't even know where to go. They couldn't even get out their half. That City dominated them. They just couldn't get that goal that would have sort of rubber stamped their dominance. So obviously, with everyone with Liverpool, in the second half they're always going to come strong, shooting against the clock. But they were strong in terms of possession and pressure, but they weren't having clear cut chances. Um, and even the goal that they scored, another Szoboszlai worldie, you can't really stop those. But yeah, it's City are still City. As much as even I said they're not the same City, but they still have the best striker in the world, which I said at the start, and they still have the best manager in the world. So as long as you have those two, you always have a chance. And then you have Donnarumma, who at regular points would turn into Superman, which he
mm,
did because it could have gone 2-2 if he didn't make that strong save. Where you've seen keepers get a hand to those and he just goes straight in, but
yeah.
he made sure he goes over the bar. So no, I never thought it was going to be easy to win this league, and why should it be? Because at least because obviously everyone says, oh, because this thing, people need to pick a side. You see, the Arsenal winning it because everyone's rubbish, which everyone says. But then if they feel City can win, that means then they can't be that rubbish because they still
Mm,
think City can win. So yeah, everyone has to pick a side. But now we got to just keep doing our job. It's still in our hands.
Yeah. Do
We
you
just have
feel
to
like
keep doing our job.
the result today kind of will keep us a little bit honest? Because my worry is that if it got to like 8, 9 points again, there's
Yeah,
a
no, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, as long as they know, because there is. By the time we play Brentford, the gap will be 3
yeah, should be 3.
because they play. I think it will be. It's Fulham. Fulham away from home are not the same as Fulham as at home. And obviously now the tails are up, and they'll know. So yeah, by the time we actually play Brentford, they'll be 3 points behind us, and then we'll see what Arsenal. But it's a title race. This is where it goes. I've said this so many times. Everyone's going to drop points. We're going to drop points sometime. Because don't forget, remember a couple of weeks ago, it was 2 points when we dropped points to Sunderland. City won. It was 2 points behind. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, here it goes. Here's the bottle." So now we've gone back up to 6. Then by next week it could be 3. It's just going to keep going. I think what is going to be the main event of the evening, as should we say, is when we go to the Etihad. I think that's going to decide it. So yeah, for every Arsenal fan, I just say buckle up, man. This is all part of the title race. There's some days where you'll be jumping for joy, and then there's some despair. And I'm sure City fans are the same when they watch our games. When they think, "Oh, we're going to drop points, or it could be a struggle," and then we just batter the team. This is how it's going to be. But nah, I won't say I'm worried. I don't worry. It's now or never, isn't it? Put your cojones on the table. Let's see what you're
Yeah,
about.
yeah. I
So
mean,
that's how I see it.
like I said, I think that result today will keep us a bit honest. And to be honest, if you look at City this season, it's the lesser teams that they are dropping points on.
Yeah.
It's not
Big games, they've
really
done all
big
right.
games.
I mean, I don't think anyone. I saw them maybe get a draw before the game, but when I watched the game as it was going on, I was like, "Nah, they look up for this." Pep. He had them ready for this, and they showed it. And as long as you've got, because I think that's where it's the difference between the two teams. I think going forward, they're far better than us, but defensively, we're far better than them. So it's
Yeah,
basically who can get their weakest point working more than the others. So if our attack can gel a bit more, then their defense can defend a bit more. Then it's gonna be. Hey, we're going to the wire, man. Let's go.
let's go, let's
It's what
go.
we're about. Isn't it? This is what we want to be there in the end. You want to be challenging. This is how it goes.
Nice. As a neutral, give us your take on the game and your thoughts on what it could mean for the title race.
I think that was if they lost that game or even drew that game, the title was going to the red side of North London. That was it. Even the interviews after the games, the players, so much of themselves said it. So if they would have thought that, then they would have lost that extra 5% that they need to win certain games and certain matches. If they thought that you had gone on, Kunle said it that before you guys play against Brentford, it'd be down to 3 points. But I don't actually think that's the tricky point for you. I think it's that Wolves fixture that's being rearranged. And then you've got the North London derby. Is it 3 days later? I think that the congestion part there could potentially be, because on paper, if you look at it, it's those are games you should win without question. But when I start looking at the gap, the level of rest you have in between games, and I don't know if the European games start by in between that. That I actually think is something that I know you got a fat squad, don't get me wrong, but I think that could potentially be a banana peel. That if you navigate that, then I think you're fine. And the point difference that you have allows you to lose that game or not get the win at the Etihad, and it should be enough to see you through. But I actually think the fixture congestion could potentially be your worst enemy. Your defense is solid, but even 0-0s, for example, could harm you. And I'm just looking at the level of rest in between some of these fixtures that's coming up here. I don't know what you guys think to that, because I know you're going to go for the League Cup. I know. So this is you're putting miles in the legs. I know you may say it's not the mindset to have, but if I had gone 2 decades without a title, I would have, apart from the Champions League, I would have sacked everything else. We'll play the kids. or or blood some of the youngsters and save my legs, my players' legs for this league title. Because if you if you don't get it this season, I think this loss will be damaging, and I don't know if you'll recover from that
Well, by not winning the league this year.
this year. This year, you know, all the other previous years you had excuses. You know, this one, you're clearly the best team in this league, and if you don't win it, then all that's going to happen, your fans will question Arteta, and the court will be in session. Let's put it that way. And I don't know. No one. I don't see the other teams allowing. They'll all improve. Let's put it that way. And I think it's now or never. Personally, I don't know what you guys think to that.
So if let's just play devil's advocate and say that we don't win the league this year, is it Arteta out, or do we give him another go?
Oh yeah. That's that. I don't think that's even a question.
Wait, is that 4 seasons in a row?
That'll be 4 seconds in a row. It's time to go, man. No. Someone, you can't. Like Nigel said, they are this. The reason why this season I think is more imperative is because there are no excuses. He can't say, "I didn't get what I need." He has built the fattest squad that we have seen as an Arsenal fans in a long time. There are no excuses. And obviously other teams will improve. I think we'll improve ourselves, but psychologically, imagine. I don't know what that losing, especially against the City again. I don't know what can do. And don't forget, some of our top players, they're gonna start thinking now. Like, I've been doing this for a bit now with you, and we're still coming second. So obviously, what the fans want and what the board will do are 2 different things. I think the board will still keep him, but me personally, if you've been hearing the same, I think it's similar to what happened near the end of sort of the Klopp era, when you hear the same voice again and again and again, if it slowly the message doesn't get through anymore. Yeah. Like, man, because don't forget, our players, no one can say our players don't work hard. When we lose the ball, they run until get that ball back or run back into play. You see it when Arteta's hushing them there to get back in position. They give everything. So they've been pushing themselves for quite a number of seasons now, but based on his instructions and following his plan. So for it not to work again and come second again to City again, I think that psychologically that could be very damaging if they keep Arteta. Because me personally, it's like a manager, just the voice is you need to change.
Sorry, let me change that. When I say now or never, I meant with this manager. Yeah. So
that's what I mean. That's what I agree. Yeah. I say with this manager, I don't see him doing it again. Yeah. A different manager could come in with new ideas, spruce up our attack a bit more, and we can go again. But with Arteta and how he does things and how he makes us play, because especially with how we play, the only reason we are the majority of Arsenal fans are tolerating it because we're top. So imagine you've watched this type of rigid defense first, stingy attack, and then you still don't get the prize at the end. So you've tried it the flow throwing football way, which you tried in previous seasons. It didn't work. You've now gone defense first. That hasn't worked. There's nothing left. So for me, and I think the majority of fans, it's gonna be question time.
I can back for it. I love Mourinho. When we had him and we were winning the cups and stuff like this and coming second, you're like, I don't like the football, don't like what I'm seeing, but we're picking up trophy. If you're gonna play like that, you have to win. You have to win. You can't play like that. You cannot play like that and not pick up trophies. And even if you were picking up trophies, I don't think it's not sustainable for a long period of time anyway. But if you're going to do that, you have to win. And when I said now or never, I meant with this manager. I believe, I don't know if you've heard the players after the game saying, if we had lost this game, even drawn this game, the belief would have gone in order to win the title, and basically they were handing it over to you if they didn't win today. In the dressing room, nobody will say this publicly, but I can imagine, please, you got big players. I can imagine people like Declan, Zubimendi, Saka, looking at Arteta and thinking, no, and especially with all the talent that you have, we should be seeing some fantasy football coming from you guys. So they're playing with a handbrake on. So if you didn't win it this season, the next season you'll be like, man, you're virtually killing my career. Your fans
Let me ask you something.
Your fans will have no, which is the worst.
Let me ask you guys something. So you said that you've seen the end of game interviews and the City players are saying if we'd even drawn, lost this game, belief would have gone and da 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 da. Does that not tell you then that City are one result away from collapse?
Yeah.
No, but that's how it's going to be when you're chasing. You're always going to be one result away. They have to keep the pressure on. Yeah.
When you're chasing,
they knew. Yeah.
So what happens if we then beat Brentford, beat Wolves, and then Man City draw to Fulham? Like that's you're then looking at what 8, 11 points.
I think the fixture one you just said. I'm interested to see what date is the League Cup final.
I think it's early
March. It's the first weekend of March, I think.
So, first weekend of March.
You know, like I said, City seem like they're one result away from complete capitulation. So, what happens if they go and get the draw against Fulham unexpectedly and we win our two? Does that then? Are they then saying that they're handing over the title process? It's a pretty dangerous thing. I think
they weren't. I think it's because there's so many things. It's not just about the football. It's how the psyche. Because 9 points and the damage of the defeat at Anfield, and obviously the narrative of run, you can't beat them at Anfield. That damage, and because what this victory does to them. Because remember, this is a place they don't do well. Even when they had the best teams, the Centurions, they don't do well at Anfield. So to actually get 3 points in the must-win at Anfield and in the way it happened. Donnarumma making saves, Haaland getting a penalty last minute, like it all culminates, it all adds to the belief. And you could see, because as that game was wearing on, Pep could see it was coming because you could see he was getting lower and lower in his chair. And then as soon as he went he was sinking. Then literally as he went the other way, he was back up on the touchline standing up. Because obviously he's done this, he knows this race, he's been there, done it. So he knows what this game meant. So
I hear that, but again my question is,
so David, you're not losing between now and the end of the season. Arsenal's not losing 3 games.
But again, my question is, if the players are coming out and saying if the gap had been 8 or
because you're not losing.
Yes, what I'm saying is they are one result. They're telling the world we are one result away.
Yeah, they are. They're one result away from handing it over. They are.
But what happens? What happens if they draw against Fulham now, a game that we expect them?
Then they'll be handing it over.
They said. If you maybe you haven't heard it, just before I came on here, I just got a chance to hear Bernardo Silva speak. He said we messed up all the way up until now. Now this is last chance saloon. We know we have to win every game. So and Haaland said that as soon as Bernardo Silva scored the goal, he went to Haaland and said, "We need you now. This is it." And it was like 7 minutes to go at that time. If you listen to the interviews, he said, "It's now or never."
Yeah, no, it's not. They are literally every game they go. They know if they don't pick up 3 points, it's pretty much over unless we do a major collapse. So they have to literally keep on winning and then hope that we drop.
Look, even if it's 7 points or whatever you're saying, they're dropping the points. The thing is, they can beat you at the Etihad, right? And even if you lose another game, so we give you 2, you're not losing 3. Like it's not happening.
Yeah,
you're not losing.
3 would have been. It's the psychological. It's just like. Yeah, I couldn't see it. Yeah, I can see us maybe drawing, but to us losing 3, especially the back end, I think the running we've got is pretty good. So there's still gonna be more twists and turns. Like there's few games I'm not skeptical, but if we need to get over them. And one, as much as it normally we go there and we just walk them, the Spurs game, because they're going to want to be that team that does something. They're going to put you're going to see them run like you've never seen them run before.
Because you've won the league at their home, they can't have it.
Exactly. So they can't have it again. And the fact that they took points off City, so they want to definitely even it out against us. So City are literally 1 game away from throwing in, but obviously we have to keep doing our job. If we do our job,
that's all we can do.
No, but the way you will play football, the way you will play football with a 9-point gap, versus the way you play football if it gets to 3 points before you guys play again.
Yeah, it's different. It's different.
The way you're going to play football is very different.
Yeah,
right?
and I felt that when we played United. The way we played United, you could feel everyone's passes wasn't right. It was always a bit short. It wasn't crisp. And obviously that's how Zubimendi because how many times have we seen Zubimendi do them type of passes? 100 times in a match, and everyone just looked tense. So that's why 9 points could have such a big swing. But now we keep going, man.
Yeah, we keep going. There'll be more twists and turns in the league season, but let's
there'll be more twists. We'll see who blinks.
Yeah, 100%. Let's switch gears now and go back to the Nigel, your team, United. I mean, it wasn't a great Tottenham side, full of injuries, riddled with injuries, and Romero getting sent off quite early on. But the Carrick train rolls on, and I believe you're 4 wins on the bounce, 1 win away from allowing that fan to get his hair cut. Your next game is away against West Ham, so that could be the day he gets to have his hair cut. But from what you've seen so far, Nigel, there's a lot of discussion going around in groups, online, etc., that Carrick is earning the job. We'll park the result to one side because you've done what you need to do. Let's talk about Carrick for a little bit. In your opinion, is he really earning this job, or is it a case of new manager bounce still continuing?
No, you don't beat Arsenal and Man City back to back and call that a new manager bounce.
Those were his first 2 games. It's literally a new manager.
It's not a new manager bounce, right? The Man City one, if you want, you can call it that and say the excitement. But the Arsenal one, the fact that we went up and then you pegged us back, and to be able to have the courage and the resilience and to go again and win the game at the Emirates, something that we haven't won even with better and greater teams. That says a lot. To then play, was it Fulham, and who's been a bogey side for us, and dispatch them. Tottenham, who we haven't beaten for ages, and even before the red card, there was a 5-minute spell where Spurs were starting to come in, but just like they were jabbing, they weren't doing anything really. So we were in control of that game, and the beauty, and we've seen when we played against teams with 10 men before that we haven't dispatched them. In fact, we've lost.
Yeah.
So, but it's not just Carrick, by the way. One of the greatest things that he's done is brought in Steve Holland.
Yeah, he has.
So, and what I do like about Carrick is that when, like our set piece goal that we scored, you've gone on mute.
Sorry, go on.
The imagination for the set piece. So for the first time in the longest, because under Amorim, we were only playing 1 game a week. But I never saw in the game, apart from the first game against you, to be fair.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything that we've been working on in training and brought to a match.
Yeah.
Under Carrick, you can see combination play. You can see or the Amorim. Actually, no, the set pieces I'm going to give it to Amorim because he instilled that in us. I'm not going to take that away from him. But the way that we're playing in an attacking sense, and even though it's simple in the sense of putting square pegs in square holes or round pegs in round holes, our previous managers didn't do something that was so obvious and basic. And before when we were playing against teams, we parted like the Red Sea. You haven't seen anything like that. In fact, I can't tell you how amazing it is that like a bog standard 2-0 win, and not even 3-0. 2-0, that score. We just came, we did what we had to do, and went home. We kept more, we haven't kept a clean sheet for the longest time before him, apart from Senny's first game. We've kept the clean sheet against City and this. So in the 4 games, we kept 2 clean sheets. Like, honestly, everything just, and even our players who before all our fans wanted to get rid of, people like Dalot, he's been amazing. In all the games we played.
He's been good.
Honestly, he doesn't get a lot of shout-outs, and I know Bruno and everyone's got the headlines, but I've been so impressed with Dalot, honestly. And you can see that everyone, this cohesive unit, and everyone's come together. like you guys are a team, and you can see, and you will fight for each other, and that's what I see on the pitch now when they're playing. It's and yes, and just because we gave Ole the job, right? It doesn't it doesn't mean we can't give Carrick a job. I mean, let's be honest. What had Arteta done before he joined you? At least he's actually given a stint. In fact, he managed us before, and he was unbeaten in his previous stint. Let's not forget. Then he went to,
is that true? Okay, I didn't realize that.
Then he went to Middlesbrough, and he gave it. You know, so he's got some experience on that, and then he's come here and he's continued the way he left off.
If he continues in the vein that he is, would you like to see him get the job?
The question is, what has he done if he continues like this? Oh, by the way, 4 in a row for a club like Man United. The reason why it's such a big deal because we haven't achieved that, and he's done more in 4 games than Amorim has done in 14 months. Okay, so but by the standards of where I see myself, 4 wins on the trot. This is Manchester United. This is something that we should be doing, but we are winning against teams that we haven't been able to beat for years. And at grounds that we haven't won for nearly a decade. So these are, and West Ham's another bogey team for us, by the way. So if we're able to go there and deal with West Ham away, then he's putting these hoodoos to rest. And I'm here for it. But again, I will say, everyone keeps saying, when they say should we give him the job, the reason why they're saying they shouldn't is because we've been down here before with Ole. Carrick's not Ole, right? And Carrick bought Ole bought a few of his mates to come, and in fact, Carrick was part of that backroom stuff when he was there under Ole actually. But this one, he's done it differently. He's brought in one of the best that he could find that was available in Steve Holland, and Steve Holland was there during all the success that Chelsea had, and he was part of the backroom team that got England to 2 finals, right? And he went to another club and also won stuff. So this guy, he's been there in the engine room and worked with some of the best managers.
Yeah.
So, and you need a guy, by the way, who can handle the pressure of managing Manchester United. A lot of it, you've seen the managers, they're like, oh my gosh, they've been blown away by the media responsibilities alone that they had to do, and the questions and the tactics and the players. But the great thing is that, and also Carrick is young enough to be, I thought Amorim would have solved this issue, but he's young enough to be able to deal with this new generation of footballers because he hasn't long come out the game. So all of this, for me, if we wait, okay, so if from here we finish in the Europa League, no, I wouldn't give it to him. But imagine, I think you said we're 3 points behind Villa, right?
Yeah, I think you will. I did say this a long time ago. I think you are going to catch them.
All right, so if we catch Villa and we finish within 3 points of Man City, if we had brought in Luis Enrique and Luis Enrique did what I just said with you, we'll be praising him, right? Oh, what world-class manager! He turned it around. Well, if Carrick's doing it, why not the same praise and credit? Why ruin it? All the players seem to enjoy. For me, I hear what the players have to say. They say they love the training. They love Carrick's approach. And the players that are being left out, he's explaining why I'm leaving you on, but be ready so that when you come on, you impact the game. Yeah. And I don't see anyone storming down the tunnel. I don't see anyone showing terrible attitudes or anything like that, which has been a cancer in my club for a decade.
It's almost like he's united everyone around him, hasn't he?
Literally. And he knows what it means. He knows what it means here. And also, I know that this shouldn't be a factor, but I'm going to say it. The fact that it's Carrick, have you seen how, apart from Keane, have you seen how the temperature has come down a little bit from the ex-Man United players and people saying things for clicks?
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, right? I know we've been winning, so there's not much you can say, but the temperature's toned down a little bit, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Carrick he's doing a fantastic job. He really is. The players, they speak glowingly of him. I just think it's a feel good factor. I just think it's kind of dangerous territory when you go from the interim or caretaker to the full time manager. However, the results will speak for themselves. And I was saying in a couple of groups over the weekend that I actually think you guys are going to catch Villa and go past them. And I've got a sneaky suspicion that you might actually get the second spot. Um, I was kind of banking on City losing today, but I just believe that if it gets to a point where City do go and drop more points and Arsenal win and their heads drop, I think that gives you the opportunity to go ahead and catch them because they are in a title race. And when that belief has gone from that title charge that you're trying to do, sometimes your performances go with that. United
Yeah,
haven't had to deal with that. You guys are on the rise. So I think the momentum is with you guys. I do think you're going to get top three. And if City do go ahead and drop those points and Arsenal do go ahead and capitalize and extend that gap to the 8-9 points, I would then expect United to go ahead and steam on to go and get that second spot. But let's switch gears here. So I want to go back to today's game, but I want to focus on Liverpool for a little bit. Okay, so
yeah.
I saw Sky Sports having a debate where the question was raised: are Liverpool bad champions? Now, I'm going to throw that to you, but before I do that, I just want to give you some context here. So, 5 games into the season, okay, Liverpool were 5 points clear of Arsenal. They were in first spot, right? Since then, 20 games later, Liverpool sit 17 points off first place Arsenal. It's been a meteoric rise from Arsenal, you can say, and the same can be said for Liverpool going down the other way like a stone in water. In your opinion, are they bad champions, or can this season be put down to things like obviously the unfortunate incident with Diogo Jota, Lord rest his soul and his brother's soul, and comfort him, his family and his loved ones.
What happened?
Are we back?
Yep, I'm here. Are you here?
Yeah,
Can
I'm
you hear me?
back. Oh, man, technical issues there. Internet drops out. Apologies for that. So, as I was saying, Liverpool saw on Sky Sports that they were being discussed as bad champions. As I was saying before the connection issue. Um, 5 games into the season, they were 5 points ahead of us. They now sit 17 points behind us. Sky Sports is doing a debate where it's saying Liverpool bad champions. Like, in your opinion, is it a case of them being bad champions, or have they just had mishaps that happened to them before the start of the season that allowed us into this season? You know, in your opinion, like, what's your thoughts on that?
No, I accept what you said about Diogo Jota, so you can't legislate for that, and I have no idea what impact that would have made in the dressing room. But what I will say is that when they were winning 5 games in a row, like you said at the start of the season, they were sitting top of the table. It's hard to speak when someone's lost their life. But what I will say, what then transpired after that, for me, it was more that he was struggling to integrate the players that they have bought over the summer, and that was the reason why they're dipping form. Konate was completely off the boil, and he refused to bring in Gomez, for example, and he let go of that defender he sold into Germany, the one that starts with Q, and they decided to sell Luis Diaz. That was their decision, and they used that to justify their outlay, saying that, well, we recouped a lot of money. So when you look at net spend, we didn't actually spend that much. So they messed up their own team and the system that they had in place, and it took them a while to get up to speed. So yes, they did absolutely mess this up. By the way they managed to pull things a bit together, it's not as catastrophic as Chelsea's defense or Leicester's defense. So it's not the worst ever. But yeah, there's still 13 games to go. So the second half performance, I have to say, was much improved. So let's see how they finish the season. But they're not going to be anywhere close to Arsenal or whoever wins the league, but Arsenal. But in general, if you had asked their fans after 25 games and you were sitting 6th, would you be pleased with the season, seeing as your Premier League champions? And the answer would be no. And if you asked them, therefore, would you believe that at this stage of the season you will question the manager, should his job be under threat? Their answer would most probably be yes. So if my team had won the Premier League title and we were sitting 6th, what did you say, 17, 19?
17 points off of first place.
Yeah, I'll be calling for my manager's head.
I mean, it's not just a case of winning the league; it's winning the league and then spending 500 million, pretty much all intact.
Yeah, it's unacceptable for me. It'll be unacceptable, and that's if anyone else performed like that in all our professions, we'll be we'll be summoned in by managers to explain ourselves, and so I'm not gonna give him any breathing room for that. But it's not my club, but I guess if you do win the league, you can be given the benefit of the doubt to go again. But if he has a terrible start next season, then questions will be asked.
All right, fair enough. Kunle, in your opinion, are Liverpool bad champions?
I'll say bad champions, but you have to add the context to it. I don't think people are just saying it for the sake of saying it. They're saying it because of how they won last year and then the money that was spent on top. As Nigel said, no one can try to start to understand what it is like to lose a player, especially it's just randomly in the middle of the summer. So that has to be factored in. But the reason why because when they won their first 5, no one used that no one brought that to the table as a reason why, you're saying this is what champions do. We're not playing well, but we're still winning. This is what champions do. So when the results started to take a dip in form, then obviously the Jota's passing came out. But I think it's more than that. It's also the manager. Similar to what actually Gavin used to said last year, he was never actually put under pressure. We never saw what he's like under pressure. The league was pretty comfortable. They just ran away with it. Everyone else just fell away, and because you saw little cracks here and there. I remember the Everton game, and when he came onto the pitch, and he's all pointing at the ref, like proper having a go at him, and that was just for a 2-2. So, and obviously the tactics in trying to integrate certain players. There's certain players he just doesn't like, which whenever right back will get injured, instead of playing the next natural right back, he would then bring
Yeah.
Szoboszlai out of the midfield as the right back. That made no sense. He
Mm.
just refused to play Chiesa from the start. It's like
Yeah.
Chiesa, I don't know, had done something to him. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, because it just seemed so weird that Chiesa couldn't get one start. But every time he would come as a sub, he would do something or affect the game in some capacity. Because I think even in the Sunderland game, if it wasn't for him, they would have actually lost. Because he literally last seconds trapped I don't know, so I think it was a Sunderland striker. He had broken through and Chiesa literally chased him all the way back and made a tackle or block. So
Yeah.
it's a combination of many things as to why people are saying Liverpool are bad. They're not the worst, but they are bad because they're not even coming close to defending their title. It's like
No.
they're now in the top 4 race. You've gone from title to top 4 race after spending 450 mil. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have to hold that title, man. You can't
I
when
think
things are going well.
they're only 2 points ahead of Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that last goal for City had counted, Brentford would have gone above them on goal difference.
Yeah.
So they would have.
So
You said the Champions League race, they would have been Europa League race. I don't see how.
that's what I'm saying. So to go
Yeah.
from that to this, then you have to be criticized because this thing you can't. Everyone tries to say, "Oh, Arsenal fans are emotional, well, do it," but Liverpool fans, I think, they're more emotional than anyone. For example, why are they booing Gay? Was it Gay? Gay had nothing to do with his transfer not going through. He didn't
Nope.
say last minute, "I don't want to sign for Liverpool anymore." Palace pulled they pulled the deal, but yet you're booing Gay for something he actually couldn't even control.
But
That made no sense.
Palace only pulled the deal because Liverpool came last minute and gave them no chance to get
Exactly. So
That's
look within, look at your own club.
Yes.
No, because Liverpool thought we can just rock up last minute, we'll throw some money at you, and then you give us your captain. And then Palace are thinking, hold on, you're not just gonna come here and try to take me for little man. So they said no, and they're within their rights. So to then boo the player, it made no sense to me. So now everything that's happening to them, they can't. You can't when you're winning, you want everyone to give you the plaudits and the applause, but you have to get criticized when things aren't going how they're supposed to. They just have to hold that criticism, and they are one of the worst champions. Because what type of defense is this? This ain't even a defense.
It's not a defense at all.
It's not.
This is one of those where you just walk in the ring, you lay your belt on the middle, and you walk out.
Yeah.
And it was his decision, by the way, to let go of Harvey Elliott and
Exactly. You loaned out Harvey Elliott. You could have used him.
Yeah, that was his decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree.
no sympathy.
I mean, I think, but by just the merits of how the season has gone, regardless of what has happened off the field, they're not the worst, but they are. This has been a terrible title defense for them. Absolutely horrific. But on that note, we'll end the show there. So looking at the upcoming fixtures for next week, it's a round of midweek games. For those of you with FPL ideologies this season, don't forget that it is a midweek deadline. Tuesday, we see the big games such as Chelsea hosting Leeds, Tottenham hosting Newcastle, West Ham hosting Manchester United. Can they get their 5th win on a bounce then? Allow that United fan to cut his hair. We see City hosting Fulham, Liverpool away at Sunderland. That's not going to be easy. And then, of course, we have Arsenal. We have Arsenal away at Brentford, and then I believe the Arsenal away at Wolves match is to be scheduled in that week. So we may or may not do an episode this coming weekend, but the following weekend, match week 27, we definitely will be back. I'll be in Thailand by that point. But the big games looking at that particular week sees Manchester City hosting Newcastle. Should be an interesting game there. Liverpool away at Nottingham Forest, and of course the big one,
North London derby.
Everton hosting Manchester United. Oh, sorry, you are right. It is the North London derby. So hopefully, by the time we come back, Arsenal's lead would have been extended and City would have given up the ghost of the title challenge. On that note, gents, I want to thank you for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and to all the viewers that have got this far, apologies for the technical error. My internet dropped out, so we were sort of offline there for about 5 minutes, but I did actually manage to catch the feed. And Nigel, it was just simply your face looking dumbfounded for 5 minutes. Yeah, it was literally just you. So to the viewers, I apologize for that. You should not have had to have been subjected to Nigel's face looking the way it did. But on that note, guys, thank you for joining me. This has been Over the Line, and we look forward to joining us for the next episode.
Good evening, lads.
Peace.